Progressives ignore freedom of speech rights in Democrats' relentless prosecution of Trump EP1. Who fights monsters must be careful not to become a monster in the process. These words of philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche reflect fear that struggle against ideas and people we oppose will turn us into what we hate. For Democrats, this moment has come to an age of anger against former President Donald Trump in particular and conservatives in general. This is an age where logic and restraint are foreign. In various areas, Democrats have adopted repulsive concepts to silence and even jail their opponents. Most strikingly, legal arguments now used by the left were once used against left. The power of the state used to suppress information as someone who grew up in a liberal, politically active Democrat family in Chicago. One of the biggest disappointments of my life has been watching the Democratic Party fight against free speech, pushing both censorship and blacklisting. End-proof Democratic leaders have for years called on social media companies to ban or suppress those who hold opposing views. As shown in the Twitter files, the FBI and other agencies had a covert effort to engage in what I call proxy censorship. End-proof President Joe Biden announced that social media companies are killing people by refusing to censor more citizens. Food and Drug Administration Commissioner Robert Califf has even declared that false information is a medical risk. End-proof Jen Easterly, who heads the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, has expanded her agency's mandate over critical infrastructure to include our cognitive infrastructure. The resulting censorship efforts included combating bad information, defined as information that is factual but used out of context to mislead, harm, or manipulate. End-proof New York Democrats suggested limiting speech as a way to protect democracy. And former Secretary Labor in the Clinton administration, Robert Reich, suggested that freedom of speech could be a form bullying. End-proof A federal judge recently determined that Biden administration carried out the largest attack on free speech in the history of United States. But 70% of Democrats still support speech limits. Freedom of expression or discrimination? Conservative business owners should blur that line. Why is the phrase fire in a crowded theater misguided? One most meaningful moments came at congressional hearing in February, where I warned of dangers repeating abuses from previous eras, such as Red Scare, where censorship and blacklisting were norm. In response, Representative Dan Goldman of D. New York appealed to Oliver Wendell Holmes' view that freedom of speech does not give one the right to shout into a fire in a crowded theater. In other words, citizens' opinions had to be silenced because they were dangerous to others. When I tried to point out that it came from a case that justified the incarceration of socialists for their political views, Goldman cut